Welcome back to Lessons in Leadership. This is a very different approach to lessons in leadership. Mary, we are introducing a brand new initiative, something I concocted over the weekend many months ago. Late at night, middle of the night. Here's what it is. And this is why Usame and my son, Steve and Usame, I'll introduce formally in a second, one of our great executive producers, Stephen Gregory Adubato, a great journalist and a even better son. We're introducing, Mary, the Adubato Center for Media Leadership. What?
I am so excited about this. So for our audience, they all know we've worked together for almost 26 years. And Steve has a lot of really great ideas in those 26 years. And some of the ideas are, when Steve came up with this one, I was on board immediately. He had me at hello. And it's just a great concept of bringing together everything that Steve has done in his 30 years plus in media and creating a legacy. We always talk about legacy, leadership, and leaving something behind. The Adubato Center for Media Leadership, when we talk about it today, you're going to learn more about that and really why it matters, especially in these times. I mean, we are in the craziest of times right now.
Yeah. So let me introduce Usame Tunagur, who is not only the executive producer of all post-production at our sister operation, the Caucus Educational Corporation. He's program director of the Adubato Center for Media Leadership and co-executive producer of the podcast we're going to introduce. It's Steve Adubato's Media Matters. Media matters a lot now more than ever. And also Stephen Gregory Adubato, a contributor to the Adubato Center for Media Leadership and a published author in most recently the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Daily News, Newsweek, and a whole bunch of other places. Usame, let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. This Center for Media Leadership, created with private family money. So, Stephen, I'm sorry, the will that I wrote, some of that was going to you is gone there. No, not from the kids. So, but it is private family money that we created this. First of all, what was your initial reaction when I said, I want to create this Center for Media Leadership? It's going to have a podcast called Media Matters. It's going to provide scholarships to students who are studying at state universities, other universities in media and journalism who have a hard time paying, very expensive, for tuition, holding public forums around media leadership. What was your first reaction and what is it now?
To be honest, when you shared that news with me, I was not surprised. It was only a matter of time because I've been working with you almost now 3.5, going into 4 years. On our Sisters PBS series, we've been covering issues around media matters for a long time, I would say right now. And when I go through our list of guests, so many of them represent different facets of media. Sometimes we look at media's relationship with politics. Sometimes we look at monopolization, hegemony, media ownership, and its impact on coverage that we see on media and media impact on citizenry. So when you share that you'd like to evolve this into a podcast where we can have longer discussions, when we can cast a wider net, and we continue the discussion as the politics around media is evolving, didn't sound extremely surprising, because I'm like, that's why I said it was only a matter of time, because you've been already thinking about this for a long while. Also, the component of providing scholarship, if you ask me, especially to up and coming New Jersey journalists, sounds really exciting, because one of the essential issues with regards to maintaining independent media is issues around money.
Absolutely. And Stephen, I was remiss. Tell folks your other media credentials in the publishing world, but also your own separate podcast. Let folks know, and then I'll bring you into this larger discussion about the new center.
Yeah, no. So in addition to freelancing for several publications, including the ones that you mentioned, currently working now as the associate editor at Compact Magazine, which is attempting to forge a new space for voices that are outside of the mainstream, trying to get a more nuanced view on what's going on in our society and politics today. But also I've been active on Substack for a while, again, trying to create a platform for voices, trying to get deeper into what's really going on right now.
So Stephen, let me ask you this, because one of the things you'll see, and our website will come up right now, one of the things we're doing is highlighting interviews that we've done on State of Affairs, this is on our public television programming at the Caucus Educational Corporation, on Think Tank, one-on-one State of Affairs. And also remember them, I do with my colleague Jackie Chicarico, media figures like the great Edward R. Murrow and others who are no longer with us, who are media icons, media leaders. Stephen, let me ask you, because you also joined us for that, and Usame put together an initial list. There might have been 60 or 70 of those people, Usame. Stephen, let me ask you this. There are countless podcasts out there. Mm-hmm. In your view, I'm not going to ask the question, do we need another podcast? But the question really becomes, what could and should this be in your mind to have impact around media leadership when the podcast world is flooded right now? Go ahead, son.
No, it's true that there's a flood of podcasts putting out all kinds of perspectives, some more nuanced, some more valuable than others. But I think this is a valuable platform for us to be starting right now because, again, there's a need for free thought that isn't kind of filtered through certain biases, certain points of view that kind of obscure, again, what's really going on in our society today. So this can be a very useful space for us to explore the various facets of what we're observing in the media, what we're observing in our society today. And this is why I look forward to using it well to kind of give people those deeper discussions that I think people are really looking for right now.
One of the areas I want to get into, Jim Acosta used to be with CNN. Now, see, Usame, you know this world well. Is he one of those independent journalists on his own, doing his own thing? Used to be at CNN, right?
Yes. Okay.
Enemy of the people. President Trump has used that term, called media horrible people. And to me, this is not political at all. What it is the question of one of the things we're going to look at is what happens when media, legacy media, which I'm a part of, media, if we are seen as, quote, the enemies of the American people, like literally enemies, domestic enemies of the American people, why is that a huge issue for our representative democracy? And then, Mary, I'd like your thoughts as well on this. By the way, none of this would have happened if Mary Gamba behind the scenes had not worked to get this thing up and running, to get us, to get our lawyers on board, to get the finance people on board, to get us documented as a 501c3, which is the government. It's a tax code for a not-for-profit organization, which this is, and do a million other things, including getting our website up, which your son Joe, who's expert at many things, also a great actor, help get the website up. I'll get your view on this as well, Mary. If we're the enemies of the people, in the eyes of millions of people, Usame, why is that a problem?
I have a quick story for you, Steve. You already know I'm originally from Turkey, was born and raised in Istanbul, migrated to the United States about 30 years ago after high school. And of course, I kept my relationships. And one of my close friends with whom I went to middle school and high school, he has been working as a very successful journalist in Turkey. After the coup attempt in 2016, he served close to 6 years in jail, totally trumped up charges. And he comes out and he rebuilds his life. And then last July, he goes back in jail again for another 6 months. There's no solid any charges whatsoever. And last week I was talking to him on the phone, checking up on him and whatnot. And he told me something profound. He said, Usame, when it comes to repressive authoritarian regimes, which United States is on a fast track inching towards.
In the eyes of some. In the eyes of some.
Okay, let's say in the eyes of some, yes. When it comes to such regimes, because, with Turkey, it's the same thing. In the eyes of some, it's becoming authoritarian. In the eyes of some, it's just...
Yeah, but hold on one second, Usame. Respectfully, a regime doesn't imply that there was a free and fair election in 2024, which elected a free and fair president, and that's not the case.
According to Turkish media, it was free and fair.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. It's very debatable. According to a lot of independent media, there were a lot of foul.
By the way, this is a lot of what's going to go on Media Matters. But go ahead.
But wait for the punchline. So we're talking on the phone, and he tells me, Usame, the number one thing that any similar government state fears the most, the number one enemy for such a system is always the truth. And when it comes to uncovering the truth, the number one occupation are the journalists. So by extension, generally such regimes are the most afraid by the journalists. So he said, they just came for me once. I already served my time working as a journalist and came again. So that word enemy is very intentional. When we vilify journalists who are doing nothing but trying to uncover the truth, regardless if it's on their side or not. Then it becomes an issue. And I'm not saying this is a Trump issue per se.
It's not,
it's across the board. It's across
I get
the
it.
board.
But Mary, I'm curious about this,
Yeah.
and Stephen, I'll get you in as well. If we segregate ourselves, I don't know what media Mary consumes in her home. I know in our home, we try to have, like every day, the New York Post comes to my house, and the New York Times. Okay, I just want to have different points of view. And I'm always looking at different points of view. It doesn't make me great at this. I just am curious. Mary, do you think, A, that most of us search out media information that really just confirms or reaffirms what we already believe, A, and B, those media platforms that do not, they're the enemy?
I think that it is a majority of people, but on purpose or by accident, fall into that trap of just tuning into Fox, just tuning into CNN.
Algorithms help.
Algorithms. Oh my gosh, my algorithm has just totally been exploded. Steve and I were talking about a new series that I'm watching, and it's funny, just because you watch something, your algorithm changes.
Yep.
But getting back to that truth and really what Media Matters is going to be all about is helping especially the younger generation, right? Our 20-somethings, our 30-somethings that are trying to get a grasp on this, and they don't fully understand how those algorithms work. If you stay too long on a post and it was, pro-Trump, if you stay too long on a post and it was against Trump, you're going to get more of that feed in your algorithm. And unfortunately, our young adults are learning from sound bites. And sometimes, very often, those are inaccurate sound bites or so abbreviated that it takes that out of context. And that's what's terrifying in the media today. So I think the majority of people, I'm the same as you, Steve. I love flipping from one channel to the other to hear, the same issue happening and one person talking about it one way and the other based on what channel you're on.
Or Stephen, I'm sorry for interrupting, Mary. But by the way, there'll be a lot of interrupting on Media Matters.
I love it.
Stephen, what about, Mary made a great point. Usame did as well. There's a big story. You're watching CNN, right? And there it is. And then, by the way, this happens to be a book. Check out Michael Wolff. We've done several interviews with Michael Wolff, who's a media leader, whether people like him or not, agree with him or not. You go on Fox News or Newsmax or other places, that same story that's the lead story on, say, CNN or PBS, it doesn't exist on the other one or is buried and is also framed in a totally different fashion. Son, I hate to call him Stephen. I apologize. You're my first son. I have a habit of calling you son. Stephen, does that literally create different realities for people? Their reality is totally different because of what they're consuming, and they just don't see it.
No, I mean, ultimately, if you're only tuning into certain news sources, then yeah, I mean, it's kind of constructing this reality filtered through, as I was saying before, a particular bias, which not only is skewed, but it's also it's only showing a piece of what's actually going on the ground. It's being sensationalized in order to get more viewers, in order to get more clicks if we're on social media. And as Mary was saying, especially if you're only tuning into certain social media channels on Instagram, on TikTok, you're only getting 60 minutes or 60 seconds or less of a soundbite. You're not getting the full story. You're not getting the nuance, which is further going to skew your understanding of what's actually happening in reality.
Do you believe, Stephen, that there is an audience, I don't even know what significant audience means. You play the click game. We lose the click game. Yeah. I just want to make it clear. I also know how to get clicks by doing some stupid things because the pet stuff clicks. Ozempic.
That's not stupid. Clicks. The little dog videos come on.
No, I don't mean, no. But Mary, I get your point. Mary's a huge dog animal lover.
I was just going to say, though, I mean, the media wants to put salacious headlines to get people to click on it, and they're not covering, wow, somebody saved a cat out of a tree today. Because,
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. All I'm saying, respectfully, saving a cat out of a tree will not be a priority issue on Media Matters. Can I just put that out there? Not that
that's
it's not
fine, and that's fair. That is not.
But here's my question, Stephen. Do you believe there's a sizable audience, a significant audience? Don't even ask me what that means in terms of numbers. For a platform, a Media Matters platform that we're going to be doing together, me, you, Usame, and a whole bunch of other contributors to this, that doesn't have a, quote, ideology or political point of view or pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-ICE, anti-ICE, pro-Democrat, anti-Democrat. Do you believe there's really a legitimate, sizable, significant audience for, I don't know, call it as we see it, to have a different points of view on? Go ahead, Stephen.
Now, in my experience in conversations with people who lean right, who lean left, ultimately they are longing for something like this. They're longing for people who can present information, who can have conversations that aren't filtered completely through a bias. But I do have to say, I think it's going to be more challenging for the younger generations who weren't exposed to the world before social media. News sources that at least try to be a little bit more neutral because they're so accustomed
or have different points of view on.
Exactly. And I see it when I'm teaching my students, both the high school and college level, that again, they don't really know a world outside of this. And the times that I've tried to break through it and to challenge them to ask, okay, but what's really happening beyond, that limited narrative that you heard on that TikTok channel, they do start to become curious. So I think if you offer people this level of discussion, they're going to be interested in it. They want something that's more substantial.
Usame, you're going to be co-executive producer of this with me, which means we're going to have a lot of debate in a good way. Stephen says he believes, and he teaches at Seton Hall, and you're at St. John's as well, son?
Yeah.
And Usame, you've taught at the higher level. Disclose that, please.
I used to teach at Cabrini University. I was an assistant professor of communication.
So both of you lived in academia. I've taught at several universities over the years. Do you believe that it's going to be, as Stephen said, more challenging to engage younger people with the kind of content Media Matters is going to put out there, which is not so easy to digest because it's not so predictable?
Of course, it's going to be a challenge across the board. All of us have light to heavy ADD, ADHD. It's extremely hard with the advent of social media to focus on long format material. Books, there are studies right now, film studies, students are having trouble getting through a feature film. So, but of course, the younger generation is going to be harder to get to. But as long as there is interest, as long as we can keep discussions relevant in terms of policy, in terms of how lack of media coverage impacts their lives, impacts their ability to take informed decisions, sooner or later, I believe we'll get to see at least a portion of the youth who are interested in these matters.
Okay, I got a minute left. So unlike some other colleagues and friends who have created their own podcasts, it's to hear themselves. They got their microphone there and they talk forever. And some are really good at it. I promise you that will not be what Steve Adubato's Media Matters is. That will not be what the Adubato Center for Media Leadership will be. Yeah, I'll share my perspective, but I'll also challenge my own perspective by having other people on with different points of view, different ways they view the world, different ways they view the media. But I'll say this, as someone who's been involved in public broadcasting and running a not-for-profit media production company who's had to raise literally, with Mary as my partner, millions and millions and millions of dollars to put what we put on the air. We will also deal with the economics of media, the dollars and cents of media, and how hard it is to truly be independent media sources where those dollars come from, what those people who provided those dollars, and corporations, foundations, individuals, in some cases, the public broadcasting, government money. Bottom line is this: independent media should come with an asterisk. It's more complicated than that, but to say that there's no economics involved is less than honest. I promise you, with Usame, Stephen, myself, other folks, and Mary, who helped make it happen, who always does that behind the scenes, Media Matters and the Adubato Center for Media Leadership will attempt to make a difference. We'll give it our best shot. I'm Steve Adubato for our great team at Lessons in Leadership, led by a great leader, Mary Gamba. We'll see you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, NJ Transit, the North Ward Center, O'Toole Scrivo, Gingoli Construction, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, The Helix, Fedway Associates Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, inspiring great minds to greater purpose since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.
At Gilead, we choose New Jersey because of the people, the potential, and the possibilities. Collaboration is a huge part of what we do. Without collaboration, we wouldn't be where we are today. We can't come up with everything that we need by ourselves, so we are dependent on the infrastructure in the life science industry that New Jersey provides. This is New Jersey. It all happens here.